Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. We are about to do an N7 mission on Benning. I'll be using Garrison ED. And I will still use the Claymore shotgun. This will be the last mission I use the Claymore, at least for the time being. And yes, this will just be me changing around weapons and what have you. I finish off Tuchanka today. I will be posting all of those videos as well. Sorry that I did not get a lot of videos posted yesterday. I had a party that I was at pretty much all day, so I was just able to post just a couple videos, just a Tuku and some target practice videos. I thought that series was done and dead, and I could just forget about it, but somebody requested that I record some footage of the heavy weapons, so I did that as well. I'll be doing the rest a bit later. And I might actually have a whole different series I'm considering right now. We shall see, but that would be interesting only if you are interested in the target practice series. If you just like my playthroughs and commentaries in that regard, you probably won't care. But here's some plot. I'll be back in a little bit.
Cerberus strike squads have infiltrated one of the major cities on Benning. Initial reports indicated they were recruiting civilians, but further investigation suggested that people are being taken against their will.
For what purpose?
Unknown. We sent a recon team to investigate, and the Cerberus squads reacted by targeting civilians in public facilities. Officially, Cerberus is denying responsibility and condemning the action. They're either lying, or we're dealing with a rogue faction.
And innocents are caught in their crosshairs.
Exactly. Secure the area so we can establish a rescue lifeline to the rest of the city.
Approaching the drop point, Commander.
Copy that, Lieutenant.
The people down there are counting on you, Commander. Hack it out.
Building an avalanche of civilian SOS requests, Commander. The bulk are concentrated on the upper street. Cerberus forces are pinning them down. You better hurry.
Alright, so this is Benning. We'll be facing Cerberus. It's nothing too difficult. I was actually kind of looking forward to this mission as a Vanguard, because I did remember there being a lot of hallways, a lot of enclosed spaces, which is fantastic for the way that I like to play, the in-your-face way I like to play. So I remember there being a turret around here, so I am just trying to go on the left path. This is another maze-like map. It's very easy to get lost. Kind of like Eden Prime, and just trying to figure out where the enemies actually are. And I can hear a turret now. They are gunning down civilians, if I recall correctly. Also, yesterday was April 1st, and I didn't think to do anything. I actually kind of thought to do something, but it's like, you know what, let's just not. Let's just not. I'm really not the prankster kind of guy at all. So, not my thing. Probably wouldn't have been that funny anyway, so I just let that go. I didn't want to confuse anybody or something. So yes, turret. I have ED and Garrus, so I know that I can take down its shields, but they are flanking left right now. A couple of guys. What are you guys doing here? Get out of here. And I'm trying to charge here, but for some reason charge didn't work, and by the time that I could, he had backed off, and I also had to reload, so just a bunch of unfortunate things happening right there. Wanted to shoot him in the face, but didn't get the opportunity. But this guy just coming right at us. Not wise, my friend. Not wise. You did. Also, I posted a random link to a strategy gaming website, a strategy board gaming website. So games like Risk, Settlers of Catan. Because apparently the huge fan outcry against BioWare and their ending has even spread to websites that have nothing to do with Mass Effect 3. So, that website was The Gaming Gang, by the way. They are a strategy board gaming website, if you are interested in that sort of hobby. And, yeah, it was... The article that I linked was in reply to IGN, Colin Moriarty. I believe he's lead editor of their PlayStation 3 section, or something like that. Apologies if that is not correct. I don't really read IGN, you know. I read it, but I don't know the names of the editors and all that stuff. Yeah. And the writer on the Gaming Gang was writing in response to that, and you can see Colin Moriarty's spiel on the Gaming Gang's website. And essentially, Colin Moriarty was just saying, how dare gamers create petitions asking BioWare to change their ending, and what have you. And just the outcry, and it's their property, it's their product. And he does it in a fairly demeaning and arrogant way. I mean, if you just watch the little clip, they constantly like flashed him walking outside, and it comes off as just really pretentious the way he presents it all. And I've never watched anything that he has done in the past ever. So I'm not saying that Colin Moriarty is pretentious and arrogant or what have you. I'm just saying that this particular time, that's the way he came off. So I have no idea about the broader view of his work or anything. I've only seen this. So I'm looking at him in a vacuum right now. So just keep that in mind. And for any of you that are fans of his out there or something, I don't know. But he constantly says in that little clip, that like 3-minute clip, that, you know, you can be upset about it and whatever, but this isn't the way to go about voicing your outcry or something. And that's kind of vague. Like, I don't know if he was saying you need to do it in a more calm and more civilized manner, but he doesn't really say that. He just says this isn't the way to go about doing it, to which I wonder, well, if you're upset with a product, what do you do? Obviously, you go on their forums, you bitch about it, and they made a petition. Yep, that's another way to go about it. I mean, and thus is your right as the consumer. I'm not saying BioWare should change anything. I'm just saying that is their right of the consumer to do so. If that's how they wish to voice their concern, that is kind of the standard way in which you do it. I mean, how else are you going to do it? Call them directly? You know, picket outside? That seems kind of a waste of time and just totally pointless. So I don't know, it just all was rather strange. The whole thing has been rather strange, and I've kept totally mum about it. All I've said thus far is when I finished my very first playthrough, all I said was, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the ending. I still don't really know how to feel about the ending. For me, it is what it is, and that's really all I'm going to go into it. Because every time I voice any opinion on any of my videos, there's always like 2 people that put a dislike just because they don't agree every single time. So I am kind of wary about saying anything at this point.
Stay down.
Because why? Why bother? That's not what this is about. But to get back to the gameplay, now we're in the best area ever for a Vanguard. We have guys all the way on the left, and we have guys here where I am now that'll be coming, and it just allows me to ping-pong between both of the big complexes, the prefab housing, and just have no difficulty whatsoever with dealing with this. It was a lot harder for my engineer to deal with it just because he didn't have the freedom of movement that my Vanguard has, but this is just a joy for me right now. I'm just kind of waiting for them to stream in and to deal with them. And yeah, he is out of range, so quick dark channel. I do finally spec out of dark channel. I spec into slam eventually. I think it was on Tuchanka at some point, and never used it once. I mean, really, I have no options at this point. The only thing I mean, to tell you, I have fortification unlocked, I have barrier, I have dark channel, slam, and a few others. I mean, it's nothing. I have armor-piercing ammo, warp ammo, but I don't want to use either of those. I could take armor-piercing ammo and not use Garrus every mission, but I like using Garrus every mission. I just want to see his dialogues and whatever in the different missions, the things that he says, so I just don't want to switch it. Ah, grenade. And I also, and I'll get into my respec in more detail later, I not only switched my power, but I respec my build, changed some things up to make life better, I guess. I mean, the goal wasn't really to make things easier, it was more just, why do I have this? I never use this, let's get rid of this sort of thing. It just didn't seem to make sense that I had some of the things I had. I also positioned my party members in certain spots to cover my back and this side. Boom, your head is gone at the beginning of this, and that is important. It's really a good idea to put your party members in spots where they can flank the enemy or they can cover your flank, and it won't get them killed. You don't want to generally get them killed. So, all important stuff. But yeah, retreating, waiting for this guy to poke out. You know, I like the Vanguard melee, but it's really hard to hit enemies with it when they're on the ground, which I think is probably true for all the melees in the game, at least all the ones that I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them. kind of annoying. I mean, I guess that's what Nova is for, but you've probably noticed by now, I don't use Nova that often. It's pretty rare that I use Nova. I've spec'd my charge into an AoE function, so it generally knocks back pretty much everybody around me anyway, at least if they're close enough. So, and I mean, if they're close enough for that, it's the same range pretty much for Nova. So if they're out of the range for my charge knockback, they're generally out of range for the Nova knockback. And I just don't use Nova that often because I don't want to drop my shields. I'm kind of reluctant to use shields just to knock... I mean, I only use it to knock people down anyway, so... And I'm already doing that. I don't know. Right there I used it because there was 2 guys and I'd already charged. So, I mean, I do use it sometimes, but I'm hesitant. I also don't want to turn this into a charge Nova, everything's dead video series either. A lot of people play Vanguard that way. They just charge and they Nova, and they charge and they Nova. I like to use guns a bit more. I'm a pretty shooty player. So, but that's, again, that's just my playstyle. A lot of different ways to play Vanguard. That's just how I like to play because that's how I find it fun. I mean, if you saw my engineer, I used guns all the time. I did not play him as a powers build. Yeah, don't want to let this combat engineer set up a turret. He was a prime target. The Claymore actually suits my playstyle quite nicely. Just 1 shot, 1 kill sort of thing. And I'm not into that for sniper rifles, but up close and personal, I just want the person to be dead. I want them to be dead, gone, and move on. And I have a pretty decent shotgun aim, I think most of the time. I mean, I do miss, but usually I'm pretty good about getting shots off with the shotgun. Plus, I mean, you have the time dilation, so that helps a lot as well, even though they are flying away from you. I feel like I'm rambling. I just woke up not long ago. This is kind of the beginning of my day, so that might be affecting my train of thought. I don't know. But if you guys have opinions on the whole thing with Mass Effect 3's ending and whatever, feel free to post in the comments. I mean, I'll talk more about it in the comments, I think, than I will in any of my commentaries. But I wouldn't mind having a conversation about that. Hear other people's perspectives. I don't try to be like an on-the-fence kind of person. I usually have definitive opinions, but usually my opinion is, yeah, that's a valid perspective and that's a valid perspective, because the world is generally gray, you know? I mean, most things aren't just, this is just an opinion on art. This is totally subjective. So there's really no right or wrong answer about this. So, and that really, I think, pisses off people, because people like finality. They like things to be done, move on, and it's just not that simple. Such is life, to use a platitude for everyone out there. Yeah, that guy should have died faster. Shame on me. And I believe they'll be setting up a turret pretty soon. Or maybe they have already. I'm not really watching the video so much right now because I've gotten so off topic. I definitely heard one at some point, so I'm being kind of wary about getting shot. Yeah, so they had. And I'm guessing it had actually been there for a while, and I'm just now talking about it. So sorry about that. But I actually heard it long before it was set up, so I was being a little cautious about that and trying to avoid it. But I'm also trying to experiment more with charging on turrets with lots of health and seeing what I can get away with. I'm not sure if I do that here. I think I did it earlier in the video. I don't know. Maybe. I'll probably charge right now when it's done bursting. Do it. Yeah, there we go. So wanting to see if I can destroy it when it's at 3/4 health of armor, and yeah, I totally can. Not that that's necessary at all. It's just amusing for me.
You're clear. Go.
And that's basically it. Something to keep in mind, if you want to charge on a shielded target and not knock them away, just charge on them when they have just a little bit of shields left. Then you'll charge, their shield will be gone, but they won't get knocked anywhere, so you can set up your aim better. I haven't really talked about that. That's just one thing you can do on a Vanguard. But this is over, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. There'll be a Normandy intermission next. Have a good one.